Thank you for watching the World Community Magazine's Hour of Power Live on Facebook with your host Edward McQueen and April Garner Davis.
And good afternoon. We definitely are live. Good afternoon, our faithful viewers, and welcome to a program. Sorry about the delay. Those things happen sometimes, and everybody knows how it goes like that. So, but the information we have for you in store is really going to be worth it. So, let's begin with what was promoted as what this evening we're going to have on the program. Full information on the 45th annual MLK Day. That's the Be the Dream theme of theirs, and we'll have a couple of representatives from the MLK committee to give us a briefing on that and address any of the questions that anybody or comments that anyone has. Sorry, April. Good afternoon to you. Good evening to you. Sorry.
If people only knew what happened before we got started.
Yeah.
Good evening. See, let me say
now they know that we don't come here and we're not playing, all right? Yeah.
We try not to anyway.
That's true. So look, April, as the second half of the program we're gonna do like a follow up from last week at Myrtle Beach's format, okay? Conway has his own, but we'll start with the 45th annual MLK Day. Give everybody a focus on what's going to happen there. We want to start with a little bit of introduction of how this thing started and so forth. It's going to be very brief. And so we in the absence of Ms. Janai Falk, she's a little bit under the weather today, but we have Joella to sit in for her and give a brief history on how this started. It has an illustrious history behind it, because for 45 years this thing's been going on. So just let the people know that we haven't forgotten about that day, and that day is still, for lack of a better word, sacred day. Okay, and a celebration for that day. Freedom, justice, and democracy is what part of the theme. So without further ado, I want to have Joella McQueen to come on and give us just a brief history of how this started and where we're going today. Okay, so if you can just kind of.
All right, and before we actually get on with Sister Joella, we also have in the studio with us tonight the Reverend Kenneth Floyd, who will talk to us about the reorganization of the Conway Branch of the NAACP. And so there's a lot of great things happening. It's a new year, it's here. And for this part 2 segment, we're covering MLK Day, as Brother Edward said, but also we're going to talk about what's going on with the Conway Branch of the NAACP. So we'll have him on in just a moment. So we just made a little bit of a transition, and I'm going to bring on the most beautiful face that I have seen in a very long time. Sister Joella, how are you doing? How you doing?
I am blessed and highly favored, and just it's a blessing to see your beautiful face as well. Just a reflection of you, my beautiful sister. How are you doing today?
I'm doing just fine. And yes, ma'am, I'm doing just fine.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, you know what? It's that time of the year, and we are really excited about who we're talking about at this time, and that's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And it's a blessing to know that around the country, people are still reflecting on the contribution that this man had in his short life. And we are just so ecstatic here in Conway, the Horry County area, to continue to celebrate so that our children will have a better understanding of him, not just at the 1963 March on Washington, but just leading up to exactly how he began and just how he started off, and just thinking about his family. And this is why it is so important that we talk about the history. And in talking about the history, we are just thankful for, I'm going to read, because Edward and I came back at a time when this monumental event was taking place in Conway. And we had different icons who wanted to continue to do this. So in studying this, I would like to talk about the history of knowing how it got started in the Conway Horry community. It says that the first annual celebration honoring Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was held in 1980 through the Black History Culture Arts Association under the direction of Mrs. Margie C. McIver. Now, you know she's an icon, Sister April. Okay. In 2000, the association joined efforts with the Concerned Citizens Operation Reach Out organization under the direction of the late Mr. Herman Watson. And if my sister Jannar could be here, she could reflect more on about what he did to get this started. But with that being said, it said that the organization was co-chaired at that time by the late Reverend Smart Smalls Jr. and Mrs. McIver. But in 2014, a group of concerned citizens met to ensure that the program would continue. Thus, the Conway Horry County Martin Luther King Jr. Planning Committee was formed, and Reverend Jerry Falk serves as co-chairperson, and Mrs. Margie McIver, vice chairperson. So we are so glad that they picked up the baton to continue it in 2024 and 2014. And in 2024, now 2025, we are still here and growing. So thank you so much for the time that I've had on here. And I'm quite sure that Mr. Edrick Alston and Miss Ashley Livingston will continue to give us everything that we're going to have during this weekend coming up for the 45th annual MLK Be the Dream. Mission Possible, protecting freedom, justice, and democracy. God bless you all. Thank you.
Took me off.
I can't hear her.
Don't see anything, but you're not muted.
Okay. Wait. She hasn't taken me up yet. And you can, she said,
She's off.
wait a minute, she said, after you open the broadcast. Okay. Am I still on?
Yes, you're still on.
Okay.
Yes,
You're gonna take me off, my beloved.
You sure you don't want to stay with us for the whole show?
I don't. I want to hear from everyone, and particularly coming on talking about our NAACP and the mission that they have in Conway South in the Horry County area. Thank you, my beloved Sister April.
Thank you so much. So now we have Ashley Livingston and Edrick Alston with the Conway Horry County MLK Planning Committee who are joining us today. How are you doing this evening?
Very well. How are you doing?
I'm doing just fine. I'm going to bring Brother Edward on as well. There he is. What? That's magic, Brother Edward. How do y'all do that?
How was that?
That was a great transition. Great transition this evening. Really like that. So, Ashley and Edrick, welcome to the broadcast. It's certainly a pleasure to have both of you here. We have the tickles tonight. And before we get started with the rundown of what's going on for the Conway MLK Day program, weekend of programs, let's let everyone know who you are. And so we'll start, ladies first. Ashley Livingston, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ashley Livingston. I am a native of Conway, South Carolina. Just to give a little background about myself, I graduated from Carolina Forest High School, attended Winthrop University, received my bachelor's degree, and also I received a master's degree from Grand Canyon University. And at this time, with all the different fields that I've been in, if you know me, all the different things that I've tried, all those experiences have led me to become a teacher. So right now I am a middle school math teacher at Loris Middle, and I am in love. Along with that, I am still over the youth as a youth department director, YPD director at Bethel AME, and also the young adult coordinator for the Marion District for the AME Church as well. I thank you and I greet you all this evening.
Well, Ashley, wow. First of all, how do you even find the time? I'll say that. But also you're doing some amazing things in the community and just pouring yourself into the young people. So that is wonderful. It takes a special somebody to be a math teacher. So I'm sure Brother Edrick is glad that you joined the ranks because he was kind of like our resident math guru. Anytime anybody in the community had a math problem, a young person, they're like, you got to see Edrick Alston, right? So, Edrick, how are you this evening?
I'm doing great. How are you, April? How are you,
I'm
Mr.
doing
McLean?
Hey, April, just look, the two talents we had.
Yeah, amazing, right? Absolutely.
Yes.
So, Edrick, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I'm a native here of Conway. I graduated from Conway High. Excuse me. I attended Horry Georgetown Tech as well as Francis Marion University, where then I started teaching at Conway High as a math teacher. I'm now currently at Carvers Bay Middle School teaching math, going into my 30th year. So yes, I'm glad Ashley has come in. It's about time for me to come out.
Stay a little while
no,
longer. I need mentors.
Yes. This is awesome, Brother Edward. Math teachers, love it.
Yes.
I'm serious. Math. Look, do you all know that you're almost a rarity, right? Being math oriented and math instructors. I mean, that's, you don't find them too often.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but look, that's something that don't change. You still add, subtract, multiply, and divide.
Well, you know what? You've hopefully taken the baton from some of the greats that we grew up under. I don't know about Ashley because she's a little bit younger than us, Edrick, but
Yes.
the late great J.J. Holmes.
Most
Woo!
definitely.
Yes. Come and get this F, okay? And J.B. DeWitt, they would tell us in a heartbeat. We weren't doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Okay.
Yes. I don't know too many people who didn't come through Mr. Holmes and Mr. J.B. DeWitt.
Yeah,
Okay.
because they started at Whittemore and then came over to Conway. So they had all of us.
All of us.
All of y'all had us. So I got it some way or another.
Somewhere. Exactly. Exactly. Well, we're glad that both of you are here to talk about the Conway, Horry County MLK Day events. And so I don't know who's going to start for us, but you can kick it off and tell us all the great things you all have planned.
Well, Ashley, I guess I'll kick it off. As you know, it will be Monday, January the 20th, our 45th celebration. We'll be having it at Bethel AME Church here in Conway, which is on Race Path, 1530 Race Path Avenue here in Conway, starting at 11 a.m. with our featured speaker, Elder Gary Lee of Mason Temple Church of God. During that time, we'll also have a breakout session with some youth where we'll have some STEM workshops going on as well. This is going to be a fun, filled-packed day of wealth of information. But before we get to Monday, we'll start off Saturday, roughly around 2, p.m. at the Conway Parks and Recreation, where we'll have a basketball tournament for the youth. It is free to the youth to sign up. It is free for the public to come and watch them play. During that time, we've had an art contest going on where the judging of the art contest will take place. And then we'll wrap all that up on Monday with announcing who our winners are from that Saturday's event.
So, Edrick, how many people currently serve on the committee? And I know that usually that the Conway-Horry County Planning Committee is, represents like a diverse cross-section of people from all over the community, young and, some of our elders who've been there for the entire 45 years and, worked hard to plan these events each year. So how many people do you have on the committee? And feel free to give shout outs to anybody who's been involved in the planning.
Yes, the committee is roughly about, I'll say, between 15 to 18 members. And you're right, there have been some from the beginning. Some have come aboard this year. So we have a variety of ages on the committee that has been very instrumental in making this a successful program this year. I do have to give a shout out to a few people, Ms. Jada Hudson DeWitt, Honorable Larry White, Ms. Claudine Lance Schofield, Ms. Rosa Knox, Ms. Jannar Falk, and Mr. Reverend Jerry Falk, sorry, Ms. Monica Brisbane, Ms. Janice Farine, Ms. Janitha Randall Jones. Some of our newcomers was Ms. Monet Bassant and Reverend Katrina Reeves. As just a few of them. We definitely have, Mr. McQueen and Miss McQueen. But in a nutshell, Elder Cedric Blaine Spain, who always shows up and helps us out no matter what.
Miss Ty.
Yes, a newcomer, Miss Ty Grissett, Reverend Ty Grissett.
Right.
Yes, thank you, Ashley. So yeah, we have, and these people are not just seated here in Conway. We have some in Loris. We have some in not Greensea, the Little River area, the Burgess community. So they're all around the Horry County area, Loris. So yes.
Well, I think that's wonderful. You certainly have leaned into the essence of Horry County part of the MLK Planning Committee. And it's great that you're bringing together people from all over the county to come up with plans to help celebrate this wonderful day and this momentous occasion. I don't care how old you are and how much you know or don't know about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He's worth celebrating. And I don't know too many people who have walked this earth who didn't hear at least one thing that they know about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And so each year we should continue to lift his name and also to celebrate his life and accomplishments. And you have some very interesting events here with the basketball tournament, the art contest, the STEM youth breakout sessions. What inspired you all to come up with these types of activities this year?
And I'm gonna turn that over to Ashley.
So the inspiration behind the youth activities this year was actually getting the youth to come out. We're wanting the youth to understand that there is unity in the community, and not only that, but it takes a village to help train and raise and be a part of their life. So we're trying to push the youth to understand that even though that's a day off from school, because it's a day off from us too, right? We still want you to be out there in your community and show your community that you care. And what better way than a great basketball tournament, great sportsmanship, a great opportunity for you to come out and not only represent yourself, but represent your church or represent an organization that you truly, truly love. And doing that in a fair way, and not only a fair way, but a way that is entertaining to the youth as well. This is something that they may want to come back to and keep wanting to come back to. So we're asking them to come out that Saturday, and we'll reward you on that Monday.
I couldn't have said it better.
And I would just like to add to what she said. Um, it's the talent. We have a lot of youth in our community that have great talents. So we wanted them to display in a special way. So the art contest came for showing your skills artistically. The basketball, your athleticism. But
Mhm.
definitely we wanted to let them show what they do as well as their academics. We always praising them, but we want to let them know that we're here to support them in no matter what their dreams are.
I think that is awesome. And the more you pour into these young people and the more they see you all in action, pulling together wonderful programs like this, hopefully they'll be inspired to be a part of the Conway Horry County MLK Day Planning Committee, such a long name, Planning Committee. At some point, and I don't listen, we're going to say it. No one is too young. You're never too young to join a planning committee like this, because that's the way we're going to find out what the young people will be drawn to, right? So
Mhm.
this is great. And of course, your headliner or your keynote speaker, Pastor Gary Lee of Mason Temple, Kojic. And
Mhm.
he is a phenomenal speaker anyway, and a phenomenal leader in his church. And so I'm sure his message is going to be great. So what was it like when you approached Darius to say, hey, can you deliver the keynote? Tell us about his enthusiasm around that, because I'm sure he was ready to do it.
He was very enthused. He was like, if that's what y'all want me to do, I'm ready. I'll put it on my calendar now. So it was like a no-brainer for him. He was like, this is for the community. This is what I do. I'm ready. Just give me the date and time.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So, considering everything that's going on in this world, and the things that we will be facing in the future, we now are in a country where we have new leadership, returning leadership, I should say. We have a lot of changes that are going on. There's so much just that's happening in this world, and sometimes you think about what your forefathers or people who are now your ancestors would think of things that are going on in the world today, and how people are, relating or even not relating to one another. When you think about the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., what do you think is one thing that he would probably impress upon us as, human beings? What is one thing you think he would want us to do at this point in our lives, and especially in America, considering everything that's going on?
While Ashley's sitting there thinking, most definitely your voice. And your voice is your right to vote. And I think one thing he was still instilling us is that voting does matter, and that we shouldn't sit out no matter what type of election it is. We should use our voice and go vote.
Absolutely.
I think that he would say, if you choose freedom, you also choose responsibility. So understanding that whatever choices you may make in life, there's a consequence with that. So if freedom is the choice that you're making, understand that there's responsibilities in order to keep that freedom going. I think that's something that tell the young people know.
I think I know what he would probably say. He would say, "Thank God for having two of you on the WCM Live, two math and oriented people." Y'all really?
Yeah, I'm sure he would be highly impressed and very proud that you all are, carrying on the message and the mission. And you're right. All of the things that you spoke of are things that he fought for, and, so many others who were part of the civil rights movement. And so we can't dismiss or forget his legacy. And it is truly a blessing that he is celebrated through the Conway Horry County MLK Day Planning Committee some 45 years after the very first celebration. And Edrick and I were talking pre-show, and he was like, yeah, we were in middle school when this started. You're right. It's amazing, because when I heard 1980, I'm like, that really doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but it was. It really was. And we were in middle school when the first program happened. And I can always, think back to certain things that you would always hear about in the community, but you probably, weren't a part of for one reason or another. And so it's amazing that, our generation has come full circle. And now, you all are part of the planning, and you're trying to, continue. Yeah, you're trying to continue the mission. And so thank you so much for being with us today, and for sharing with us the many events that you all have planned for that weekend. So once again, I'm going to pull the graphic up, and if you will go back through them again, the things that are happening the 18th through the 20th, starting with your breakfast or your basketball tournament on that Saturday.
Alrighty, so on that Saturday, if you will all join us at Conway Recreational Center around 2 p.m., we'll be having our first annual basketball tournament for all school ages. Please come out and join us that Saturday. Along with that, we will have a wonderful art gallery displaying art from students of Horry County schools, and they're showing their arts and their talents, representing Martin Luther King on that day as well. We ask that you also join us on Monday. Come on out that Monday to Bethel AME at 11 a.m. That's what we're going to do, our award ceremony for everyone who participated on Saturday. And not only that, we have a great STEM program for our youth going on that day. And we're knowing that STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and me and Edrick, mathematics, right? So we're wanting you all to come join us and participate in that STEM program for the youth. And then for those adults, we have the wonderful, the great, the Mr. Mason Temple himself coming out to speak to us, to give us some words of encouragement, to keep us pushing through and understanding the difference in freedom, justice, and democracy, and how Martin Luther King would have wanted us to actually live our lives. All right? We're asking you to come out Saturday around 2 to the rec. Let's play some basketball. Let's look at the great talents that we have here in Horry County. Let's admire our babies and show them that we love them. Come on back out on Monday at 11 at Bethel AME. Let's hear a good word. Let's learn some good things. That way our village can continue growing. Thank you.
Absolutely. Beautifully said.
And everything is free to the public.
Ooh. Everything. So come on out, y'all. It's free.
Wow.
Brother Edward, I know you like the sound of that.
Absolutely. That's free 99.
Free 99. You love the sound of that. I'm telling you.
Down the bottom it says complimentary to-go lunch will be available after January 20th.
Yeah.
So
after the January. Yeah, that's awesome. So thank you all for being with us this evening. We really do appreciate it. And of course, we'd like to have you back anytime you want to come back, even if you want to just talk about math. I don't know, brother. We might need to do a math class one night. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm serious. Yeah.
Yeah, something like
I'm serious about that. Yeah. Talk about that.
All right. Well, thank you guys. We'll see you later.
All right. Thank you too.
Okay. All right.
Godspeed.
Yeah, so Brother Edward, great information about the MLK Day events. And so now we're going to go into another great topic for the night, the reorganization of the Conway branch of the NAACP. And we have another special guest with us this evening, Reverend Dr. Kenneth Floyd. And so he is in the studio and ready to join us. I'm going to bring him on now. Hello, how are you?
Good afternoon, and how y'all doing today?
Fine, sir. What about you?
I'm doing fabulous.
All right, Dr. Floyd. April, his email is Doctor.
Reverend Doctor. There you go. I said, yes, it is, isn't it? Yeah, he's earned it. I am quite sure he's earned it. So, Reverend Dr. Kenneth Floyd, welcome tonight to WCM Live, and thank you so much for being with us. And we are really anxious to hear about the reorganization of the Conway chapter of the NAACP. And before we get started, of course, we would like for you to tell our audience a little bit about yourself. So if you will, just let them know a little bit about, I don't know if we can put it all in one show though, Brother Edward. Reverend Floyd has been involved with a lot for a very long time.
I'm telling you, man.
Many of you know I'm Kenneth Floyd Sr., brought up in Tin Top Alley. That's a street right over from John Street, where Brother Edward was brought up at. So we was long neighbors
Absolutely.
years ago. And now I'm president of the Conway branch of the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. I'm a lifelong resident of Conway and has been active in our community for many years. I was also, president following the Reverend H.H. Singer after his illness, and then he resigned as president, and then Reverend Falk took it, and then I took it over, and then it went down. We had Dr. Adams, and then also Brother Mustafa, also and Winifred Ann Anderson. And so now the state contacted me and asked would I be willing to try to get it back up and going. So I certainly said yeah, because I'm always willing to do what I can do, and as you know, Conway Branch was one of the powerful NAACP branch in the nation. A lot of people said the state, but in the nation, there was no other branch doing what the Conway branch was doing, 89, 90 area, And so we was doing it in some time. Things will go down and then it rise back up. So, and so now that I've been elected president for the second time, and now Brother Blaine is my vice chair, and Sister Teresa Anderson is my secretary, and then the treasurer is Sister Priscilla Wyman Fuller. As everyone can know, the NAACP was the cornerstone of the civil rights movement and was out front in pushing for racial and economic equality for all people. In later years, membership in the local branch fell off for one reason or another. The organization has since partnered with others in matters such as the cross burning not long ago in Horry County, Conway, and the Black Dyke Week issue in Atlantic Beach. The organization is as relevant now as it was in the latter years, based on many issues we now face. In addition to some of the racial problems we still face, we have also had to look at other issues facing our community, such as the use of land in Black communities and job opportunities, to name a few. Most of these situations have somewhat improved. Problems still exist. And as you know, the NAACP was organized in 1909 for white folks, for Black folks, okay? And so we've been going strong ever since. And so although it has developed to address the issues dealing with Blacks, it is charged with the racial injustice for all people, regardless to race, creed, or color. We don't discriminate. We look out for all people. And I know I've done it under my leadership, went to bat for whites as well as Blacks and other nationalities. We also are now looking at the issues such as affordable housing, where there has been such a large amount of development. We want to ensure our citizens living here are still able to maintain residence and won't be forced out due to the cost. We want to ensure our elected officials are adequately representing the community in all aspects. We would like to ensure appropriate representation on my school board, and that our community concerns are addressed. We want to work with other organizations in our community to continually address our community concerns. So, my brothers and my sisters, we want to ensure our elected officials are doing their job. And sometimes we don't get what we ought to be getting, and so we let them get by with a lot of things. And it comes a time that we've got to hold everybody accountable for their actions. Don't get elected and then sit down on us. There's a lot of work to be done. Yeah. So that's one thing we want to focus on, and we want to work with others in our community, as I said, to continue to address all the concerns that come up before us. We would like to encourage our churches and other organizations and individuals to join the NAACP, because membership in the NAACP is the lifeblood of the NAACP. Without blood, what happens? You die. So we want to encourage them to join the NAACP. We're also working to get young people to join and continue carrying out the philosophy and of the organization. So that's one thing that we really need to make sure that our young people is involved, because the reality of it is that we are passing on. There's no doubt about that. So who will we pass the torch to? Okay, and we got to try to prepare our young people to take these leadership roles, go on. So it won't be long now. Our meetings is going to be every first Saturday. The executive committee will meet from 12 to 1, and then the branch itself will meet from 1. Right, looking in Missionary Baptist Church, right? Okay, and so the meeting, will be announced in advance, so that people will know where we're meeting and time and place and all that. We'll have our Facebook page coming out in the next few weeks, and so that way we can put information up there, and they'll be able to go there and get updates about issues or things that are happening in the community. So if people want to get me in touch with me, they can reach me at 843-902-0825. The Vice President, the Elder Edrick Blaine Spain, at area code 843-246-4338.
Reverend Floyd, you mentioned a few moments ago that the meeting's going to be held at a particular church, and you kind of faded out. What was the name of the church?
Cherry Hill.
Cherry Hill. Okay. All right. And there is a question in the chat. Carolyn Hickman Williams, thank you so much for watching tonight. She says, so glad to hear the Conway Branch is now back active. Very few people knew about the reorganization and election meeting for the Conway NAACP branch. How do you plan to communicate in the future to get information out to the community?
Well, we got to, according to our bylaws and constitution, we got to notify the community at least 2 weeks in advance and where we're meeting at. And certainly we send announcements out to our churches, and also put it on as well.
Okay, so do you have a website? Your website is not up yet, right?
Not yet. Hopefully next few 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay.
Because like anything else, you got to have some money.
And speaking of which, I know that you're just in the reorganization stage, but if anyone is interested in joining the organization, how can they do that?
They can go online and contact the national office in Baltimore and make application there. But and if you're on Conway Branch, number is 5509B. Of course, you don't have to worry about that too much, because if your zip code says Myrtle Beach, then they will send you to Myrtle Beach, to Conway. Now you can join whatever branch you want on, but you won't have if you live in Myrtle Beach and you want to join Conway Branch, you can join, but you just won't have any voting power.
Right.
See?
So, is there a link there other than just the fact that just two different branches of the NAACP? Is what kind of collaboration has taken place in the past, and what is to be expected, and what are you doing now in terms of collaborating for the good of all?
Well, right now we're working. Both branches, Myrtle Beach and the Conway branch, is working closely with the state office to make sure that we are doing what we ought to be doing, and also keeping the state conference informed as to what is taking place. You know.
So I assume that I'll just start getting sticky here, but I'll assume that whenever or whatever you have planned, if there's a joint forum or something joint being proposed for the whole Horry County to look at or to observe, then at that point that's where the website would come in.
Yes.
Okay. And
like people for cutting off. Like now, Myrtle Beach runs from North Myrtle Beach back to Surfside. Conway will pick up the rest of the county.
Conway would pick up the rest
of the county. And to tell you the truth, we was trying to get it to be named Conway Horry County Branch. That way, because Lourdes had a branch at one time also.
Okay.
You know. And so it's a lot of work, enough work for everybody, to do,
Okay.
So, Reverend Floyd, you just recently had election of new officers, and I don't know if you mentioned that at the beginning, but there have been some people who, popped into the chat since you started talking. So who are the new officers that were installed for the Conway branch?
Right now, as I stated, I'm the president, and Elder Edrick Blaine Spain is the vice president. And you got Sister Teresa Anderson, she is the secretary, and Sister Priscilla Wyman Fuller is our treasurer right now. And we got to get more people to come in, because the NAACP made up a lot of committees. You got the membership committee, you got the legal redress, you got the education committee, public and publicity, a whole lot of committees. And so what happens, we will meet, and then we will discuss what avenue we're going to take, what issues we're dealing with, and then we'll present it to the public, And so right, we don't have a whole lot. We don't have a whole lot to fill the committees that we need right just now.
Mm-hmm. So what is the most immediate first step that you want to take as president of the NAACP to make sure that, the way you want it to be reorganized gets off to the right start? What do you think is the first step that you all need to take?
To try to get the pastors involved with what's going on in their community. And we've tried this down through the years. And some just didn't need to get involved. But the thing is, I look at it, if you're operational, get fired or whatever happens, then they expected me to go to their rescue. Well, see, the thing is, and we can't look at it that way, whether who's getting paid. The thing is that they pay him a salary, so I want him to get involved. Even if I go lead the fight, I need that pastor to be there because he's showing his parishioners that he is concerned about them as well.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my pet peeves, I definitely want to get back on, is getting a breakdown of what's going on, jobs and whatnot in our county. If we make up 5%, then I want to make sure that we're getting 5% of the jobs. Okay, and I don't want to, if you look at all the top positions in not only the city, those positions are held by white folk. And I'm saying, as taxpayers, we want some of them jobs too. Okay, we don't want to be always find ourselves down at the bottom of the totem pole. Yeah, you mostly find us in the majority of jobs in maintenance like that. No, you went to school, you got your education, then you want to write whatever you want to do. I want to push you first. You want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Because we send our kids to school too, and they pay themselves, and the first thing they're going to tell you, you either underqualified or overqualified. Well, that dog won't hunt no more.
Okay. We have a question from the audience. Eugene Bellamy Jr., thanks for watching. What steps will be taken to speak to and create a space for multiple generations of African Americans to join and feel like they have a voice?
Okay. All right. Now, one thing that our people they do have a voice, but only the president can speak for the NAACP. Everybody can't go out there saying anything, because see what happened. We were sued one time before, and therefore we had to kind of tone it down where people cannot go out there saying any and everything, and we don't partner with other people. And so if they get sued, then we get sued too. And so they were only allowed the president to speak for the NAACP now.
Mm.
And so yeah, we want to, but we want to also get back over at Costa and get that college chapter over there up and running again too. And then you got the youth council that works up under us, and want to get that back up and going too. You get the young people involved in what's going on.
Okay. Eugene is adding some clarity to his question. He says, I mean a voice within the organization, not to speak on behalf of the organization. So I guess my interpretation of that is, as you work to bring more young people into the organization, what do you think needs to be done to make sure that if young people are, willing to do the work and to follow the lead of the leaders, what will you do to ensure that they will feel like they belong in the organization and feel like they're being heard in terms of their ideas and their thoughts?
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the question he's asking. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're always open to new ideas and whatnot, and especially like youth council and whatnot. We have a strong youth and college division in Columbia, and because you have to be trained, and we have a whole lot of training, and only the state conference can train the officers and whatnot. They don't allow nobody else to do that. And so I hope I'm answering this question, and certainly I would like to open up where they can mail things in also their concerns if they can't be to the meeting and whatnot. But we want to address everybody's concern if we can,
But Brother Edward, it sounds like, and Reverend Floyd, that there's just a lot of work that needs to be done to, make sure the reorganization is viable for the NAACP. And you mentioned the branch number a little earlier. What is the branch number for Conway?
5509B.
B. Okay, get some boy. Okay. 5509B.
509B.
So, yeah.
All right, man.
And if you're going to go online and join the NAACP, then that's the number you want to put down, 5509B.
9B. So, in retrospect, I suppose that um, you all having the meeting, and not a lot of the public didn't know about it. You know, all these officers were elected. You know, maybe we should just stay focused on that for the next meeting to make sure that the word gets out there.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. It doesn't. To me, it doesn't fit well to say to see people come and send in messages and say, well, when did this meeting happen? You know, where you elected officers, then you know, and they weren't at the table, so to speak. Quote, you know, for lack of a better word, not that they have to be, you know,
Well,
physically at the table.
if I'm not mistaken, the secretary sent the notices out, especially to the members that's already members of the branch.
Right.
Those are the only ones elect anyway, and so and for whatever reason, it just didn't show up. So, but yeah, we'll put it on the air and whatnot, informing the community, you know, time and place of the meeting.
Well, look, man, it's been a pleasure, really a real pleasure having you here to explain to people, you know, with this, giving us a good status, and what is future projections are, and elaboration on more goals if there are any other than what you had before. That's I certainly appreciate it, you coming on and letting us know. So
yeah.
So
we want to inform our people and remind them they need to be very careful because we live in what you call an at-will state. Okay, now you go running your mouth and get fired. Okay, and much we can do with that at will.
Right.
Hire and fire at will.
Right.
If they state a reason, they better make sure that they're right. If not, they okay. So educate our people, okay? And I know we're big and bad, and we'll say what we want to say, but sometimes our mouth can
gets us in trouble.
Okay, there you go. That's the only thing I'm saying, and we do need to, you know, encourage them to be very careful, you know, and just running their mouth. You don't have to be using things, you know.
Right. Absolutely. So look, we think there's probably a lot more to be said, but we're gonna have you on again. Hey, and you're welcome to come back on again and further get out the information that's needed. Okay. Right here on WCM Live, almost at any time. Okay.
I really
we'll fit you in.
All right, I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you and Godspeed.
Thank you. Y'all take care.
Well, Brother Edward, we have some great information shared tonight. The Conway Horry County MLK Day Planning Committee with the wonderful weekend of events leading up to, of course, MLK Day. And, of course, Reverend Dr. Kenneth Floyd, newly elected president of the Conway Branch of the NAACP, 5509B. That's the number.
Well,
yes.
Look, Horry County is going to get those two together, Tiffany Andrews and Reverend Kenneth Floyd. We're going to have something. Okay? You agree?
I think anything is possible. I really do. And but you know what? They need to have conversations because the borders are really not that wide.
Right.
And it's obvious that the NAACP branch in Myrtle Beach, you know, have a lot of things going on, and of course their Freedom Fund Gala is coming up, and I think that they can stand to learn a lot from each other.
Yeah.
And so so you know, the hope is that as great leaders of you know, Horry County, especially NAACP leaders, they would be willing to sit down and just talk about what they can do as they kind of patrol their jurisdictions. Tiffany, of course, chimed in and said that the Myrtle Beach branch 5568 has a jurisdiction from Little River to Surfside Beach. And Reverend Floyd explained that pretty much Conway has everything else. And so that's a lot of ground to cover.
It is.
You know, one thing I think he mentioned, maybe not, he talked about a lot, but, you know, NAACP is nonpartisan. And a lot of people think that when it comes down to serving in the NAACP, that you have to be, African American, and that's certainly just not the overall absolute case. If we go back down into civil rights history, there were, a number of people who were not persons of color who actually helped the NAACP and worked throughout the civil rights movement to elevate Black people in terms of the things that they were going through and rights that were needed. And, so it's not just a Black thing, it can very well be a white thing, a Jewish thing, Islamic thing or whatever. And hopefully, the branches will work hard to educate everybody on that fact alone, because it takes everybody to come together to make the NAACP stronger, no matter what jurisdictions are actually being patrolled by, which chapter. And so I think that, again, the two of them coming together to figure out how they can support their respective communities is probably a great first step. It looks like Horry, the Conway NAACP branch, does have a lot to do as far as reorganization. And, one thing is true, they definitely will need membership, and they will need the financial support to do anything, even start a website, as you mentioned before. So, Cedric Blaine Spain, thank you for watching. He has chimed in, and he's answering the question that Carolyn had about the reorganization meeting. And so, I know that they mentioned that they're going to have their Facebook page. Sometimes you have to get down to the grassroots, way of communicating. People still love a good piece of mail, so, and even through the churches, sometimes, the announcements make the bulletins and sometimes they don't. Yeah. So really they need kind of a strong, marketing and PR team as well. Even if it's from the standpoint of, dropping some things in mailboxes or whatever. I don't even know if that's legal, but nonetheless, sometimes it takes grassroots efforts in order to make it work, especially when you're dealing with, constituents who aren't necessarily technologically savvy. Not everyone is on Facebook and, checks email and all that other good stuff. So I'm sure they have a lot of work to do. Again, the chapters can learn a lot from each other. And like you said, Brother Edward, maybe they'll come together and figure out how to create something that is beneficial for all and mutually. So, it's been a great show tonight. Thank you so much,
absolutely, everyone.
And we certainly do appreciate the time and the viewership. Please pass this on. It's on WCMmagazine.net for the next week. And we hope that you will also participate in a MLK Day event on January the 20th. That's this coming Monday. And that's all I'm going to say about this coming Monday.
But
let's turn it into an MLK Day event this Monday. Okay, all day Monday. Okay.
Years. Right.
Yeah, all day Monday. Watch only that. Okay.
All day Monday. So we'll have another guest for you next week. God willing. And, and we'll share it with you in our promotion coming up. We think it'll be very interesting. Thank you, Ms. Linda Carter Davis.
Yes, Ms. Linda. Thank you for watching all the way in Illinois. We appreciate you. Whittemore's finest, class of 1962. Love some Linda Carter Davis. Yes, absolutely. So we thank all of you for being with us tonight. Thank you, Eugene, for your comments and for your questions, and Dorothy Reeves even chiming in. We appreciate the good work you've done with the Conway MLK or Planning Committee, Horry County Planning Committee. So we hope that all of you have a wonderful rest of your week and a wonderful weekend. Stay warm. That's another thing too. We've had some really crazy weather. We're praying for the people in California with the fires. If ever there was a praying time, it is now. Right? It is now.
Okay, I'd like to talk about that on one of the broadcasts one time, or what we can do all the way from Horry County.
I like that. I like that, Brother Edward.
Maybe, who knows? We might come up with something that's very, very useful to those people out there.
Yeah.
In very need. So we'll talk about it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Well, everyone have a good night. Stay warm, and we will see you next week, God willing. And Yes, absolutely. And also thank you, Sister Joella, for the history lesson. We appreciate that as well.
She had the history all hidden. She knew all that history.
Yes. Yeah. She always has the history. Exactly. All right. Oh, Verdell Beckman. You know, Verdell is going to join us every single week. See you guys in 2 weeks. Be in Savannah. Okay. We'll be looking for you in 2 weeks. And enjoy the Progressive National Baptist Convention. Be safe.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Isaac Beckman there.
Yes. Absolutely. So,
Right.
everyone,
We'll
take care. Yes. We'll see you next week. All right.
Thank you for watching the World Community Magazine's Hour of Power Live on Facebook.